Yo guys, Eftann here. So I had this old project of mine of medieval city, and I had this castle in it that I'm not really fond of. So in this video we're gonna turn this castle into something more epic. So I started by removing old castle gate and making it anew, as the old one couldn't really be called a gate and didn't really match a castle theme at all. Also, new watchtowers I made have more spots which from guards can observe surroundings. Second tower is slightly edited and doesn't have a roof, so they don't look exactly the same and boring. After that, I made one segment of wall that I could easily copy and paste around. My plan was to make those walls surround castle all around this time, unlike in previous design where garden was exposed. They're as well better protected as I given them a roof. I also pasted watchtowers every so often to make it look more protected, and it also serves as a nice way of breaking up same repeated pattern of walls. Now I've made one bridge as a quick path between gate and castle itself. I also started trying to break up cobblestone floor texture by use of different blocks like smooth stone and stone bricks. After that, I built a stable next to the gate. I think it's a perfect spot for it, and every castle should have one. After this stable, I made a building that could serve as a quarters for guard leader, and it's also a nice addition to fill up some space. Now I have moved on to remaking garden, and first thing I made was extra small wall that could work as a separation between garden and castle floor. After that I started making layout of paths, as this make it easier to build the whole thing. My main mindset for garden was that it should have plenty of designated plots where I could put patios or some spots where people from the castle could sit. At some point I also made a greenhouse where they could plant special plants or anything like this. I think the most important thing is to have each plot be different than the other, as it simply brings more life to them. I also wanted to make some place on the roof with sittings, so there was at least one spot protected from sun and rain. Lastly, I had to fill up some space near guard leader quarters. I've done so by adding extra greenery and a well in the middle. On the left side of the castle, I started making some sort of training areas for soldiers and also slowly lowering the ground to make it appear more three-dimensional. Under the castle I made so-called place of arms where guards could assemble, and next to walls I made small roof where they could keep some items or cargo. And lastly I added some greenery in the middle to break up the grey colors. Moving on to castle itself, I started remaking towers at the entrance, as I had new more detailed idea for those, and after that I made stairs next to the entrance leading to banquet room, where I started remaking exterior walls. While adding windows, I got slight idea how interior could be done, but I'll save that for another video. It also was that moment I decided that andesite blocks are a perfect match for the castle, and honestly I think they're underappreciated, as I don't see that many people really using those. At the front of banquet room I made small balcony if anyone would need fresh air or just chill out. Next up I remade towers to match new design of the rest. Okay, now moving on to the big tower. All I had to do is to make it thinner in the middle and remake details. Though I mostly kept the same concept of the design, I made it simpler and more pleasant to look at. I also added some spruce logs to again break up same repeated colors. After I was done with the tower, I completely remade the bridge that connects it to the castle. This way it looks more realistic and just looks better. On the right side of the castle I had something I don't even know what purpose it had, but I quite liked the idea of it. So I decided to remake it anew and give it some new purpose. So this tower thingy has been removed and now it will serve as a place where I could build library. I googled some pics on the internet for inspiration and that's what I came up with. This roofed path is going to work as a connection between castle and library, and behind it I made small garden as it seemed as a perfect spot for it. To completely seal off this small garden, I made extra connection with the castle that will serve as a rooms for servants. At the end I had to match details of the lower bit with newly built library, and thanks to that everything blends nicely together. Lastly, in our project there was this tower in the middle of the castle, and what I've done with it is simply redoing all of the details on it. I also changed its purpose to be the entrance to the throne room, as well as the only way to access all of the high points in the castle. And with this we are done. I've made a huge update to my old castle, even it might not seem like much, but really I've put a lot of work into that, and I hope you liked this video. If so, you could leave a like, maybe sub,